Welcome to Centurion Session number 5. This is part 2 of the session. What I'm going to do is spend some time talking about Microsoft OneNote. The beautiful thing about OneNote, as you will see, is it can be used across multiple platforms. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to use it within Office 365. All you need to do is go to where it says OneNote. You're also going to need to know about OneDrive because that's where we're going to go to create new OneNotes and also delete OneNotes. You also have the ability to access OneNote via a desktop app. Another way, as you'll be seeing a little bit later in the presentation, is there's also an Android or iOS, a mobile app. Lots of ways for you to be connected. So here we go. The Office 365 option. When I click on that, what it's going to do is it's going to take me to my notebooks. Okay, that's what they're called. They're called notebooks. And it's first going to bring me to the most recent ones. This is a compilation, in my case, of notebooks that are owned by both myself and others. But when I say others, they have given me access to it. If I want to view just the notebooks that I've created, I click on My Notebooks, and that will show me what I have. So, for example, I use it when I go to conferences, but I went to one called InstructureCon, which is a conference for Canvas out in the beautiful town of Keystone. I don't know if you call it a town, city of Keystone. But what happens is if I click on this, it'll bring up, I created a page for each different section that I went to. Now, if you've never created any, it's in that case that you need to go to your OneDrive. And within your OneDrive, what you need to do is go up top to New in the upper left-hand corner and click on OneNote Notebook. And it will allow you to give it a name. And just like that, it will open up in a OneNote online. I'm going to back out of this one. You can always go up here to Notebooks, up in the upper left-hand corner below File. And that will take you to a list of the notebooks that you have. And what I'm going to do, just for the sake of instruction, is I'm going to use Centurion Session 5. I'm going to use that one. That's the one I created. And what you're going to see here is kind of just the general lay of the land is you can create different sections. So for example, I created this one under the name Centurion Session number 5, and I had 2 different topics that I discussed today. I discussed Canvas quizzes, and I also am discussing currently Microsoft OneNote. So what I did was I created a section for each. And within each section now, so for example, the Microsoft OneNote, I can then create pages. So let me put this into terms that might be easier for an instructor to follow. You got a class full of students, or you got multiple courses that you teach. You might have a section for each course. Okay, each course is a different section, and then within each section, you might have a student page where students can add items, or you just have a notebook called Intro to Communications, and then each student has a section. And then you can have each student kind of build a portfolio within that and add different pages so that they can add different material. And they can use this to share with other students in the course. And it's very easy for you to share a notebook with other students. So for example, I could click up here and click on Share. And what I could do is I could share this with you right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this with you. And now what it should do is it should pop up if you go back to My Notebooks, or Notebooks, excuse me. It should show up in Shared with Me. Let's go into that notebook and just kind of talk about the features. Once we create a section, we could add another section for notes or something like that. And that would add there, and we could add some pages, as many as you want. We decide we don't want that notes section. All we have to do is control-click or right-click on it and delete it, and it will go away. It's not quite as easy to delete the actual notebooks themselves. To delete notebooks and delete them permanently, we need to go to our OneDrive to do that and actually find the item that we want to get rid of. Okay, and then click the check mark next to it and click on delete. But we're not going to do that right now. I don't want to do that because I want to continue to work in this. So back to the notebook I go. And in this notes area, I've added some things just to show you some features. As you can see here, I actually have a PDF of an overview. It's very easy to add things like PDFs to your OneNote. So if you want to share some instructions or something like that with a student, you can do it right here within your actual page. And to do that, you need to go up here to these different options that you have. So for example, in the home ribbon, you have options for editing text and modifying your text and changing the color and highlighting and all the basic things that you're used to seeing in Word. In addition to that, you also have the option to tag the items with different tags that are available to you. Now, I'm not going to spend the time to go through all of them because everyone has the ability to kind of peruse these on their own and play around with them. And me going over them isn't as useful as you going over them. So I'll leave that to you. But if you move over to Insert, you have the option to add new pages right from here. You have the option to record audio. So I could click on this and just start talking. Let me show you that I have the ability to do that. I have to allow it to use my microphone. But once it does that, as you can see right here by this time bar, it is actually recording me. And just to make sure that that worked, hit play. To use my microphone. But once it does that, as you can see right here by this time bar, it is actually, now I gotta make it stop. And what you can do from that is you can actually allow students in here and share this with students, or you could share it with department members of your department or any committees or things like that. And you, instead of typing things out, you could just add voice notes just like that from here within Office 365. And if we get out of this, there's many other things that we can add. I am particularly fond of being able to add a video. So I have this YouTube video already pulled out, but you can add from Vimeo or other sites as well. But to add a video, all you need to do is click somewhere on your page, just like that, and eventually, and it should do this, it will load a preview, there you go, of the video, the URL that I just threw in there. And we can actually play it right from here as well. So maybe you're putting together a quick lecture, or maybe you got an online class or something like that, and you want to share this notebook with your class, like, hey, maybe you meet once a week. So maybe for each class period, you have a page that students have to access. And the beautiful thing about this is if you allow students to, they can edit it as well. So they could actually give you feedback right within this notebook here. So it's a pretty useful tool. You can also add a file printout. What you're seeing right here is actually a file printout. So I actually went to Insert. Oops, gotta click on that. Go to Insert and then File Printout. And that will allow me to search out a PDF that I might have, or an image that I might have, or even a Word file. Okay, but for this particular example, I'm going to find a PDF. Let's see, staff training. I have a whole group of PDFs here. And I can actually throw in a PDF, and it will load it and display the PDF in its entirety right within my OneNote page. And I promise it will, because you can see it's loading. If you don't want to load it that way, though, you can just put a thumbnail for it. As you can see right here, I have a couple different thumbnails, but as you can see now, it loaded this PDF here, okay, right within my OneNote page. Nice thing, too, is you can move items around. So I have these thumbnails here that are kind of, when I enlarged this thumbnail here was in the way. So I took it, oops, I'm going to take it and actually move it and get it out of there. Obviously, more robust is going to be the application itself. It is available on both Mac and PC. The application looks very similar to the Office 365 screen. But the beautiful thing about the app itself is that you can actually add new notebooks. And to do that, all you need to do is go up here and click on the plus sign, and that will bring you to this backstage area, which allows you to create a brand new notebook. So what you might do is click on New and click on the color notebook you want and say, how come Create isn't an option right now? Well, that is because you haven't given it a name yet. So all you have to do is type a name there, and that will then allow you to click Create. You can try and change the location of it. In my case, I can't, which is fine with me because I like it being saved in my OneDrive. And I click Create, and what that will do is two things. It will create a new notebook, but if you look at this list here, you're going to see that there's a bunch of different notebooks here, and one of them, the one I just created, has kind of a syncing icon on it if you look very closely, and I got it covered up by my mouse right now. Actually, it just went away. But what that means is that it is syncing with the other areas that I have this stuff available. So if I go back to my notebooks, My notebooks now has a new notebook called Example, which is the one that I just created. And so if I go back to the actual app itself, by default it creates an untitled page. I can change the name of the page, okay, and it will also update over here on the right. The ribbon up top has the options to add items. You can actually draw within your OneNote. It should show the drawing that I just did. So what I'm going to do now is I don't want to view this one anymore. I obviously want to work with my Centurion Session one. So I'm going to go here and click on Close. Now, Close doesn't delete the notebook. It just closes it. We can still access it by opening it back up. If I click on the plus sign and go to Recent or Open, I will be able to find, there's my example one, I could open it right back up. I mentioned that you could have the ability, or you do have the ability, to add shapes. So for example, if I go to Insert, and I say, hey, read this tutorial class, but now I also want you to go over to the video, okay? You can add an arrow. You can put a password. If you want to put a password on a particular sheet, you could password protect these. If you want, you can also change the color of the background. You can also, if you wanted to just have it like notes, so for example, let me add a new page here, a nice blank page, and this could be, hey, look, we got a note page here. Maybe you like to work with grids and things like that. You can set that up and you can change your paper style. All of that, these options here are available within the View tab. And if I go to my conference tab here, so for example, I went to InstructureCon this summer, as I stated, and what I do is I create a notebook, and then for each session that I go to, I create a page. And this is where I go to, this is where I take my notes. More recently, I went to the WCET. In fact, last week in Minneapolis, I went to this. And what I did was I got sick of typing things out because they were moving so fast. So I had to, and this isn't like it's groundbreaking or anything, but I had to take pictures of slides. And it wasn't like I was holding my laptop up to do those, but I use the mobile app. Here's my OneNote app right here, bottom right-hand corner. Open that up. And if I click on the up top left, I got those three lines. That's kind of my menu. And I have all my different notebooks here. And so if I go to my staff training notebook right up top, which is the one that has the conference tab, and right there you can see the different sessions that I went to. From here I can click on the plus sign at the bottom right to add a new page, or I can access different pages. So for the one that I was showing you with the images, it's the accessibility by design there at the very bottom. And so I'm taking notes in this and I'm saying I can't keep up, or I don't want to keep up. I just want to add some images for later consumption of these slides. What you should do is click to edit in here and then click on that photo icon bottom left. And then, sometimes you got to work through this the right way. It's not always the case the first time around. And you take that photo and then it will place that photo right there. But the accessibility by design is now synced as well. And so in Office 365, that image that I just took with my phone and placed on that page is already available on the online version. And hopefully, and it's now available on my app as well. So it's in multiple different places. So just more value as far as that, and that's what it's really about, is creating value. I mean, how can we use this? What can we use this for? Once you get started using it, you're going to keep coming back to it. That's pretty much what I have as far as OneDrive goes. The true beauty in it is the accessibility. You might not be able to use your computer. You might not have access to your phone, but as long as you have internet access, you can access your 365 version of this and get to all your notebooks, your files. Maybe it's a video, whatever it is that you placed on there. That's the beauty of the cloud. Maybe you're out and about and you need to view something on your OneDrive or on your OneNote. You can just hop on your phone and just like that, bring up your OneNote and say, what was it that I had that I met with that individual on 2 months ago? You can go find that item that you have, that notebook, bring it up, and then review it right from your phone. Not while you're driving, though. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you being a part of this. Have a great day.